Welcome to Homework Lib.
Given two different vectors, a and b, which definition is going to be 4.009 plus 7 on j. And for b, we're going to have 5.009 minus 2 on j. So the first thing that we need to do is find the magnitude of the vectors. So the magnitude of a is going to be equal to, in general, for a magnitude of the vector, let's call a vector b, its magnitude, whenever it has only two dimensions, is going to be bx squared plus by squared, each component squared. So in this case of a, this is going to be 4 squared plus 7 squared. This is 49 plus 16, which is 65, and square root of that is going to be equal to 8.06. Now for b, this is going to be equal to a square root of 5 squared plus a square root of minus 2 squared. So 25 plus 4, and taking the square root of that, it gives us 5.38. So these are the magnitudes of the vectors. For b, we need to express the difference of a minus b. And the difference between these two vectors are going to be the difference directly of the components. So this is going to be 4 minus 5 on the I direction plus 7 minus 2 on the j direction. So this is going to be minus 1 in the I direction plus 9 on j direction. Now we want to find the magnitude of a minus b. Remember, this is a minus b. The magnitude of this vector is going to be equal to the square root of 9 squared plus 1 plus minus 1 squared. So a square root of 82, which is 9.05. Well, 9.055 in this case. And finally, we want to employ a graphical analysis to show a, b, and a minus b, and show that everything matches up in our diagram. So what we're going to have, I'm going to try to make this as accurate as possible, but of course this is going to be easier for you on an actual graph paper. So the units that we're going to be dealing with are essentially from 0 to 9. That is going to be the maximum that we're going to have. So let's try to separate things evenly. 1, 2. Okay, so we're going to have something like this on the coordinate axis. So the results that we're going to get are, first of all, we want to write down the vector a, which is 4 on I plus 7 on j. I'm going to put a on red, 4 on I over here, and 7 on j. So something like this. And trying to make this as straight as possible. This is going to be a. Of course, you can do this in graph paper just to make it better. For b, we're going to have 5 on I minus 2 on j. So somewhere right in here. This is going to be b. If you want, we can also write down what would be the vector minus b, which would correspond to minus 5, something like this, minus 5 and plus 2. This is going to make the graphic method a little bit easier. So this corresponds to minus b. And finally, the resultant of a minus b, which would be, I'm going to put it in black, a minus b is going to be minus 1 on x minus 1 on x over here and plus 9 on y. So somewhere over here. So this corresponds to this vector. And this would be a minus b. Remember that we can employ the graphic method, so the graphic method would draw the line corresponding to minus b over here. Recall that whenever you write down a subtraction of vectors and you want to use the graphic method, you need to use the negative of the vector that you're employing. Okay. So let me just put the pointy lines over here to get the result, and this would be our final answer graphically. Of course, I encourage you to do this in graph paper for it to look like actually properly good. And that would be all. Thank you very much and have a good one.